What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the morning after. We got a great interview for you today. We got Trazarien White from UNC Wilmington. Been looking forward to this one for a long time. One of my favorite players in college basketball. What's going on, Trazarien? How you doing, man?
How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So we're kind of in the throes of the college basketball season right now. The first thing I really wanted to ask you is, we looked into you a little bit, and you're a Texas kid. We're a Dallas-based company, and just to start it off, a little free flowing. Favorite spots to eat in Texas where you grew up? Is it the barbecue?
Um, yeah, the barbecue. The barbecue did it for me. Let me. It's been a minute.
And if it's the barbecue, what are the go-to sides? Are we a mac and cheese guy? Do we like the
Mac
cream
and
corn?
cheese, mac and cheese. I get double mac.
Wow, the double mac.
He knows what's up.
The double mac.
Yeah,
I feel like I've turned into a coleslaw guy recently. Don't know if that's weird.
yeah. That's a no for me.
We're
Definitely a
out of the
little weird.
coleslaw.
Definitely a little weird.
We're out of the coleslaw. All right, enough food talk. So one thing that I really wanted to ask you, obviously, we've seen your growth from the 3 years you're at UNC Wilmington, also from, your first year at Collins College. Can you talk us through that journey a little bit, having started at the JUCO level and making the jump to UNC Wilmington? What was kind of your headspace coming out of high school and, where you've gotten to now? Obviously, I know you probably expected it and you thought about it, but kind of what has that journey been like?
It's been a long journey. High school, I had the normal D1 dreams. I didn't have many at all. I only had one, which was the Air Force Academy. So obviously, I wanted to be D1 so bad, so I took it. Um, it was a humbling experience for me. I realized you can't just make decisions like just based off what you want. Like you got to be smart about your decisions because that was a very depressing time. Because I'm a smiling person, but they don't.
They don't smile over in the Air Force
Nah,
Academy, I'll tell you
it's
what.
not much smiling. But yeah. So then I left there. I went JUCO. That was just me trying to get back D1, honestly. But this time I actually took time to put in work. So um, so the coach from Air Force who recruited me to Air Force, he actually called me when I was at JUCO and was like, "I got a better opportunity for you," and it was UNCW. So I actually committed and signed before I even played JUCO,
Oh,
and then
No way.
I went on to have a crazy season in JUCO. So I
Well, because
mean,
I was
but
gonna say, I feel like the Last Chance U series on Netflix has really shown a light on kind of that JUCO journey, and it seems like one where the joy is not very often, and it seems like you're just kind of locked in on the craft and just trying to get, a lot of them trying to get back to that Division 1 level or just get to the Division 1 level in general. And I mean, already having the offer and signed before he started the season, I mean, I feel like that takes a huge weight off. But just to speak to it a little bit, what is kind of that JUCO experience like? Like, is it really just 24 hours in the gym? Like, you're obviously going to classes, doing the school bit, but it's really just, no fun free time. Like I'm sure at UNC Wilmington, there's some things you can do outside of campus. There's some things you can do on the weekends. But what was that JUCO experience like for you, even though you already had that offer signed?
um, it was still me trying to get my name out. It was this I gotta be good, you know what I'm saying? So I was in the gym grinding. I mean, I was in a nice little area, Plano, Texas. So I
Mhm.
wasn't in the dungeon like, normal JUCOs, but it was pretty much grinding. It was cutthroat, get yours type
And
vibe.
and Josh and I, Josh is the other guy right here, but Josh and I we watched a lot of highlights. Obviously, I made him watch a bunch of highlights, and we watched some UNC Wilmington games this year. We've been having like a little bit of debate, and we have a little bit of a bet on it. Who has been a player that you've modeled your game off the most that, when you watch tape, either in the league that you try to take moves from? Josh thinks, you want to tell me who you think it is?
I
He thinks
mean,
it's Russell Westbrook because the way that you exploded the hole. And I'd said
mhm.
more so of a Paul George because I feel like you've added that little like sidestep three to the bag and the way you kind of go to the hole, it's very shifty. But who's the guy that you've kind of modeled your game off of?
You said it right, Paul George. I like
Give me
Jim.
that. That was air.
Yeah, I'm like Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Jason Tatum. Some people say I play like DeMar DeRozan. Um,
Oh, that's a good one too. I like
yeah.
that one too. What's your favorite part of your game, right? I feel like all three of those guys you named, they all have three different things that they're very good at, right? I think Paul George is very shifty. Like that's why he's got that Erica Badu edit going on. Like just everything looks like smooth jazz. Jimmy Butler's more like heavy metal, right? Like everything
Yeah.
he does, it's with intention. What is like the part of your game that, when people are either scheming for you, planning for you, that they're like, this is what he's really good at, and that you feel like when you're at your best, almost impossible to stop. Like what part of your game do you think that is?
My versatility, just me being able to play, all three levels. I feel like that's kind of hard to guard. And then, I rebound well. So I just say my versatility.
And Kentucky caught the full load of that versatility. I'll tell you what. I mean, you were cooking that game. Playing in an arena like that, a Rupp Arena, when you just seem to be so deep in your bag, is that one of those things where it's almost a little out of body, where you just feel like everything's clicking, like you're in a hostile environment, playing one of the most iconic teams, one of the most iconic coaches, and everything you're doing is coming off, right? Like, is that one of those things where in the moment you're kind of feeling like, oh, this is one of these games? Or is it one of those things where you kind of remove the excitement and experience from it, and you're like, I'm just playing ball, and then you check the stats sheet at the end, and you're like, oh, should I drop 28 on Kentucky?
Yeah, so that was, I mean, I kind of circled that game on the calendar, honestly, if I'm being honest. But I was like, this game could could change my life.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm like, it's now or never. Like, why be nervous? Why like just go out there and hoop? So it took me a minute to get my rhythm, but I don't know. It was just a moment to where like I was just out there just hooping. Like I
And
still
can you
don't even
feel it in the
remember my
moment when you're like
mindset.
hooping like that? Like, can you feel in the moment you're like, oh, I'm like everything's working, or is it just kind of like you feel like another normal day, like everything's going?
I don't even remember my mindset. Like when it was just all flowing. Like it was like it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. It's still
I was gonna
shocking, but
say, I feel like in those moments you feel like you like black out a little bit. Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's happened to me
yeah.
before in basketball. I played part district basketball in my days in high school. Blacked out a couple times.
Nice. The
Yeah,
only
you
blacking
just
out I've done is after the bar when I'm like maybe one more tequila shot and I'll talk to that girl and then I'm getting dragged out on all fours. Um, the other thing that we wanted to ask you about really quickly, obviously, I think you mentioned a little bit, is your ability to rebound the ball. Like we're watching these games, we're watching the highlights, watching your stats over the 3 years you've been at UNC Wilmington. It almost feels like you have a sixth sense to rebound the ball, and you're rebounding over centers that are 7 feet, and it feels like you're just in the right spot at the right time. Is this something that you're working on in the off season, or is it just something that since you were a little kid, you were like, oh, I just like that's going to hit that part of the rim and I know exactly where it's going to be?
that was there before all the, dribble moves and all that. High school I was a 6'6" big man.
Nice.
So, I was just always athletic and I always had a high motor. So now it's being seen more just because I'm adding skill behind it. But that's always been there.
So it was 22 rebounds a game in high school.
Dude, that's crazy. As like a kid that played high school basketball for 1 year on the freshman team, I'll tell you what, if some kid grabbed 22 rebounds, I'd be like, this should be illegal.
I don't even know if I averaged 22 rebounds. I don't know,
That
but
sounds insane, doesn't it?
Because we looked up the stats and it was 22 rebounds in high school. I mean, that is
geez,
nuts.
yeah, nah, yeah, it was. I had to be that energy guy. So, uh, you know,
And so how is your role kind of evolved on this UNC Wilmington team? I mean, we're looking at this year, you're almost averaging a double double. First of all, 20 points at any level, especially the D1 level. I just wanted to congratulate you on that one. I mean,
thanks.
that's a bucket getting number. Those are ones where you tell the kids, like, yeah, I used to average 20. That's nothing you can be like, there's some guys that are going to
Yeah,
come off the bench, be like, yeah, I played D1 ball and averaged like 3 points. 20 points is like, that's a guy.
yeah, that's
So talk to
crazy.
me a little bit about your evolution as a player, and if there's anything that you've been doing over the summers or whatever, because the jumps you've been making, I mean, even just when you look at it on paper, obviously I've been watching for 3 years, but when you look at it on paper, the jumps are more than noticeable, right? Going from
Mm,
13 points to 20 points, that's a massive leap, right? And I think Josh mentioned or off before we got on here that you've also increased the 3-point percentage by 10%. I mean,
mm.
that's something that guys try to improve over 5 years, let
Yeah.
alone a 1 year jump. Like, is there something you've been doing in the summers, or how is that routine, or how have you gotten to the point where you feel like you're just evolving every year to the point where it's like, wow, this kid is doing the thing?
Um, so I came in freshman year. I'm knowing they have Sims, Mike Okoro, all these bucket getters. So I'm like, what is the way that I can fit in? Just be a junkyard dog. So freshman year, I was offensive rebounding, making the tough plays, like just doing everything that the coach wants so, I can play. So I was that type of guy. And then so the next year, I'm like, okay, they're all leaving. Like, it's an opportunity to step into a bigger role. So I struggled a little bit in the preseason. My percentages were low. And, high school, I used to post up a lot. So I'm like, I know that. So then I started posting up, and then it led me to a bigger role. I was a star player on the team. And then this coming year, the whole summer, I actually like trained to work on like different things that can make me better. The other years I was just working out, but I actually trained and build habits to keep making a jump. So I added my outside game. I worked on my dribbling, my 3-point shooting, and it's all coming together now. And I still got the post up game I use every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be in the bag. I feel like that's one that doesn't leave. That's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, so you talked about coming in as a freshman, you got these key guys, bucket getters, from a junkyard dog to now in the point in the team, I would assume, where when things aren't clicking, you're the guy that they're looking to, right? When we need a big bucket, you're the guy that we're looking to. When things are going great, you're the guy that's kind of moving that motor. How has that role for you evolved? And is that something that you've had to work on off the court, becoming a leader like that, to be the guy where when things aren't going right, you get the deer in the headlights on the court? Like, yeah, what are we going to do right now? Right. Like, talk to me a little bit about that evolution of, your role and character that has nothing to do with, shooting the ball. That's like being that leader.
Yeah, so I'm working on that every day. I still got a lot of improvement to do in my opinion. But, I'll just try to lead by example, stay calm, stay poised, like in tough moments. Like just reminding the guys like we're good, like we've been here before. Like, things like that. Or like if a guy's struggling, tell him to keep shooting. Just little things to keep everyone, confident, keep everyone on top of their game. So, if they're on top of their game, it just helps everybody. So, I'm still working on it, but that's what I feel like, I've improved in.
And I've been watching you guys pretty closely, and there was a point in the season where you guys went on a 3-game skid and you lost back to back to backs, and you guys responded with, I think it was a 5 to 6 game win streak. What is that locker room like when you hit that third loss? I mean, I can't at playing sports at a high school level, the minute the losses stack up a little bit, like the locker room's gone. Everyone's kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, this is so
Yeah.
botted. Like, why is he getting playing time? Why is he shooting the ball? How do you kind of keep a team together like that? And what was the locker room mentality? You might not remember that specific time, but when losses start stacking up a little bit, to respond with a 5-game win streak, how do you what is your role in that locker room when that's happening? When, things aren't going right and the column start looks like L, 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 L. Like, what is your role in that locker room when that's going on?
Uh, you know, you just gotta be a realist. Basketball is basketball. You're not gonna win every game. And I just, let them know that the past years we went on 3-game losing streaks and, came out with a 12-game win streak. Like it's just letting them know like it's just part of the game. Wins and losses, you just gotta learn from 'em and move on it and, be better the next time. And I feel like we have a very mature group. So I feel like everyone, pretty much know what the game of basketball is a game of wins and losses. So it's it wasn't too much that I had to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, playing freshman basketball in high school, we expected losses. That's a completely different locker room. We were walking in the gyms being like, this is going to be a long night. And I'll tell you what. But something that we talk about a lot, just as, consumers of sports, big basketball fans, and something that, I think about frequently that I would love to ask you about, but it might sound like a dumb question. Is there something about when someone lines up against you whether their appearance, whether it's like they're wearing an arm sleeve or those shoes they have on, that you know that you're like, I'm about to literally your barbecue chicken tonight. I'm gonna eat on you all night. Is there like ever like is it like a body language? Is it like, oh, he's got two shooting sleeves on, like I'm this is me, like you're done? Like, is there anything like visually about when you come onto a court and you see another guy there, like, dude, it's gonna be a long one?
Um, I mean, I honestly think that about everybody. That's just
That's
like
almost
I
better.
just yeah, like when you step in front of me, like I just feel like you can't guard me. You're gonna need help. And like you're gonna need help. But I think what really turns me up, like if you start talking trash to me and
Mm.
I've been cooling, like I just been chilling, and you start talking trash to me, it's gonna be a long night.
Are you got to start the trash talk first? Because I always ran my mouth. I was never like the best at the sport, but I was always the first guy to say something and like would just yap all game, even if I was getting cooked. So like, are you a guy that talks first, or are you like, I'm just gonna play my game and then if you open your mouth, it's over?
Yeah, I don't really talk first,
Yeah, you
but
just gotta let it come to you.
once you start with me, it's gonna come with a lot of talking and a lot of bucket getting.
Is there like one part of your because I feel like I've interviewed some players before, and the one question I always want to ask is what's your one go-to move, right? Like if I had the death beams pointed at the earth, Iguodala is not open. So it's you and you got one move and you're one-on-one with someone. Do you have like that move in your bag that you're like, yeah, this is 100% every time like I'm getting a shot off, or this is like this is the move. Like do you have a pocket like that? Like a hezzy pull, a quick like jet, like you know what I'm talking about, like just a
I,
go-to move. Like you're like, dude, I'm cooking you. Like it doesn't even matter.
yeah, if I'm in that zone, I'm going with the side step,
That's just that
especially
I
if it's in
always
the
thought that is
if
just like even though LeBron gets clowned, like it is always just the cleanest shot. Like when it's
yeah
nothing but net and you hit it with like a little side, it's like, oh fuck, that was just like,
yeah
how do you not stop that?
yeah.
I want to
No,
mess
I
with my
definitely
mic.
say the side
I don't want to
step.
mess with my mic, but let's talk about the game tomorrow that you guys got. Can you hear me?
Mhm. Yeah, I can
Talk
hear
about the
you.
game tomorrow. That's a huge game for you guys, right? You're going for the
Mhm.
conference lead.
Yeah, so by the time this comes out, the game would have already have happened.
Yeah,
But talk to us a little bit about that matchup going into tomorrow. Like, is that obviously, you guys are practicing all week. Is that an emphasis or is it just another game?
it's an opportunity. Because if we win this, we're in first place or tied for first place. So we're coming in, we're working for this opportunity. Like, so the whole week has been, it's been about us, UNCW, playing basketball for UNCW, getting UNCW's best shot. And we feel like the first game we wasn't really, you know, playing that well. We shot 30% from the field and 20
Hmm.
from three or something like that. So
Mhm.
we're feeling a lot more confident, and it's gonna be a good game tomorrow.
And, and talk me through the mindset a little bit because obviously now you're the guy, right? So teams are
Mhm.
scheming for you when they're doing their scouting report. Like the first name on their list is T. White, right?
Mhm.
So talk me through a little bit about being that guy now, where you're walking into a gym knowing the game plan is to basically take you out of the game. Is there a
Mhm.
time when you can tell that it's working when you're like, fuck, they scheme me well in this first half. Like we're gonna have to have a conversation in the second half, or like just talk me through a little bit about that experience because I don't think a lot of athletes get to experience being the guy, whether it's on the football field, basketball court, whatever it is, where you're kind of the guy that they're scheming to take out.
Yeah. I mean, I just in the game, I just know now, through this long season, I just go into the game knowing I'm gonna see two people at all times.
Mm.
I It's rare that I don't see two people at all times.
Is
So,
that something that you've been
that's
working on, like knowing, like, all right, I'm gonna see two people today. Like, I gotta have a bag for now, two people coming at me. Whereas a lot of college athletes are just trying to figure out how to get by one.
yeah, just quicker moves. Um, and with my moves, moving the ball because gaps. You got to move the ball. Get through the gaps. But also passing. My assist been going up a little bit since conference. That's been an emphasis for me. Just making the right play for my teammates. Getting them involved, and eventually, it'll open up more space for me.
And so we've got like a list of questions that we're gonna ask every person that comes on the show. You're going to be the first one to get them, so I apologize. Not that they're bad questions, but the first one is, in your conference, what's the team that you dislike the most?
Can I guess?
Oh, can he guess? Josh is going to guess.
Yeah,
Charleston.
Is it Charleston?
absolutely.
Why Charleston?
Just the whole vibe last year. They just ruined it for me. I ain't have no problem with them until last year.
Mm.
And
Just 1 year will
you
do
know,
it.
yeah, they were just cocky and they had every right to beat, but they was just cocky and I ain't like that. And they beat us 3 times in a row. I ain't like
Yeah,
that.
that's just
Yeah.
best stadium to play in your conference. That's not your home arena.
I can't say it. I'm not gonna say it.
That you love that they like will pack it and you just like kill them every time. They're just like, oh, this is gonna be a walk. You can't say it. I know he's not gonna say it. He's not gonna say it. All right, the favorite arena you've ever played in outside of conference. I mean, Rupp Arena, Kentucky's got to be up there.
Yeah, I say UConn.
Wow, yeah, that's a good one. I hate UConn.
Yeah,
I'm a Providence
yeah,
guy. I hate UConn.
yeah. Rupp Arena, UConn, and North Carolina. Those.
Oh, North Carolina is a good one. I think that's
Yeah.
when you tell the kids about.
Mhm.
We have like a rapid question segment at the end where we're gonna ask you a bunch of fun, really quick questions. But before we get there, something I've wanted to ask a college athlete in this era: how has the transfer portal affected collegiate sports at this point? Like, does it feel like going into every year? I mean, you've been one of the few that has not hit the transfer portal, other than when you first got to UNC Wilmington, right? Does it feel like every year you're going into offseason expecting 4 or 5 guys to leave, 4 or 5 guys to come in? Or how has it affected even the way that you look at teams in your conference knowing that you're probably not going to see the same roster year over year now, that it's going to be different guys every single year?
Um, it's crazy, honestly. Especially with NIL now. Like, it's transfer portal and NIL, so it's a lot of ways people can, jump from being the worst team in the conference
Mm-hmm.
1 year and then being the best team in the conference the next year. I feel like it makes basketball exciting. You're seeing a lot more upsets. You're seeing a lot more sleeper teams who can, actually, show up in the tournament. So, I mean, I feel like it'll make basketball more exciting over the years.
I kind of agree, but I also feel like it's kind of like, dude, I agree with you because you can have teams that are just horrible, and then the next year come out, you're like, dude, when did they get this? Like, you're not
Yeah.
like this, guys. You're not like this. And I think you're also seeing the reverse too, with teams that are historically pretty good.
Yeah.
When they have a good year, everybody jumps ship,
Mhm.
which I think has been interesting as well. Do you have anything, Josh?
I got one more thing. So everyone talks about like welcome to the league moments, like when you go to like the NBA or or NFL. Have you had a welcome to the college moment?
Yeah.
Did someone
In
just
practice.
fucking head tap you bad? Like, what happened?
No, it wasn't that bad. It was just in practice. Every practice I'm guarding Jalen Sims.
Mm.
And
Cooked.
yeah, one practice he hit me with a move and then like I thought I stopped him and then he just powered through me, finished it, talked trash, and I had my tooth went through my lip. I was just like, and nobody said nothing. I'm like,
It's silence. You
what
can't even
y'all
open your mouth
do?
because the blood will show.
Yeah, everybody just like, whoa. And I'm like, yo, I'm
All
here.
right. Any weird routines you do before the game? We had one guy on that said he always puts his left sock on before his right and always puts his left shoe on before his right. Do you have any weird either pre-game day routines, post-game day routines? Like, what's the Trazarien way? Like, it's game day. What's the routine looking like?
I definitely always put my left sock on for my right.
Wow. Okay.
Um, I usually do the same routine, like putting on everything. I put on my compression first, then my shorts, then I go put on my socks left to right, and then I put on my shoe left to right. And then I put on my compression shirt last, put on my compression shirt and my arm sleeve last, and then put on headphones and I listen to old school R&B.
Wow. All right, who are the top three? I gotta know.
I got Usher, I got TLC, I got
Wow.
Anthony Hamilton. I got Boys to Men.
Wow. So is it to
Got
bring the energy down because you're a little excited that it's game day, or what is the thought process behind that? Because I think a lot of people from the outside looking in are like, oh, like they got to be listening to like pump up music, like let's get going.
it's just soothing. And it's like I just like the rhythms and the beats of
Yeah.
old school music.
Warming up like that, it just feels like smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. All right, we're gonna do rapid questions, and we'll get you out of here. We won't want to take up too much of your time. We really appreciate you for coming on. It's gonna be about 5 to 8 rapid questions. Chicken or pizza?
Pizza.
Is it the beach or the lake? Since you're a Texas guy.
The beach.
Okay. All right. Is it a like just fire the crowd up dunk or like a sidestep three to just like bury the dagger?
Sidestep 3.
Wow.
I dunk
LeBron
a
or
lot.
Jordan?
LeBron.
Dude, I had a bet that you were gonna say Jordan. God damn it,
No.
dude. Just killed me on that one, dude. Oh, all right. Is it a leg sleeve or an arm sleeve? I feel like there's two different kind of guys in college ball.
Arm sleeve.
Wow. Chess or checkers?
Chess.
And then last one for the UNC Wilmington faithful. Are we making a run to March this year?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you so much for coming on, Sharon. We really, really appreciate it, man. We're wishing you the best of luck this year, and hopefully we get to watch you make a deep run in March, man. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, man.